470, 400, 450, 490, and I see minimum 200 to 300 people writing over there, price please, and their phone numbers. We are exposing our phone numbers. That's again something personal and I'm not very for it, but at least ask if it is certified. The gown is certified and ask for the UCC number. A lot of fraud is going on right now. Let us save ourselves from that. And now I will ask Dr. Himanshu, please elaboratively explain to us the N95 mask with and without the valve, the fitting, the sterilization. Please enlighten us.
इससे पहले मेरे को ना डॉक्टर रजत की बात सुन के लग रहा है कि मैं अपनी बीवी को 95% प्यार करता हूँ। 95% का गड़बड़ हो गया, 5% किसको करता हूँ? ये तो ऐसा हो गया। So kindly enlighten us about the N95 mask, and then I will also talk about PPs.
Okay, I'll go back to one more point which I forgot earlier. Like when we are trying to flush clean our tubing in our control box, what I have found is whenever I've used a dual enzyme cleaner as you use in your ultrasonic cleaner, that liquid, you put in 1 dappen glass of it in your booster, add about 300 ml of water and flush it through the tubing, the handpiece tubing, the 3-way tubing, but without your handpiece. I'm sure most of us have not seen what biofilm looks like. It's a pale green, pastel green colored earthworm which would fly out from your tube. Now, if by chance you have your handpiece attached, that green earthworm is going to go through your water line and jam itself at the end of the hole where the water comes out. Now, that area being very narrow, it's going to be very difficult to clean it. If you have a single hole handpiece, you can apply reverse air pressure and it will fire out. But if you have a 3-hole handpiece, you have to remove the back head of the handpiece, remove the cartridge, remove the 3-hole wala ring, clean that, clean the reverse tube, and then your handpiece will be clean. Okay, now I'm using Blanisol Pure from Lysoform, but that is not a disinfecting cleaner. It's a plain dual enzyme cleaner. If you have a disinfecting ultrasonic cleaner solution, please use that. That will be far better than using hydrogen peroxide or hypochlorite. Okay, secondly, when we come down to the N95, the N95 is actually an industrial dust filter. It is not a medical grade mask. We are just using it for that because it's available. You have the FFP1, which is a 80% filtration rate. FFP2 is 95%. FFP3 is 99%. And you have N99, which is 99%. N100, which is 99.7%. What that does is, it filters out 99% of 0.3 microns ka particles from entering your lungs. The catch here is, higher the rating of each mask, the more difficult it is to breathe. I have had friends from the UK come and tell me, okay, if you're wearing an N95 mask, you'll be like into hypoxia within 30 minutes of working. You have to readjust your mask or take it off. This is a serious problem. Secondly, these masks have a filtration system made of polypropylene. It's a non-woven polypropylene where it's so tightly meshed that the pores are only 0.3 microns. Now, how do you sterilize this? There are some advisories. See, this is not a guideline. Some people have suggested you could heat it up to 70 degrees centigrade in an oven. I have tried placing it on a upside down teacup. You place it upside down, you can place the mask on it in such a manner that no part of the mask touches any metallic component of your oven toaster grill, OTG. हम लोग घर पे जो पिज़्ज़ा बनाते हैं या बेकिंग करते हैं, you place it in that, set it at 70 degrees centigrade for half an hour. This is one way of doing it. You cannot use sunlight because UV light will degenerate your polypropylene. So it will not filter well at all again. Achha, when do you throw away your N95 mask? Anytime you feel that the difficulty in breathing has gone beyond a certain level and you cannot breathe comfortably, that is the time your mask is finished. It's blocked, so the pores are blocked. Okay, now we have some masks with valves and without valves. To reduce the amount of difficulty we have during breathing, these valves have been installed so that when you exhale, the air is allowed to freely flow out instead of passing through the filter. So it's easier to exhale, but you have to still inhale through the mask. Now there's a problem with that. If by any chance you happen to be a carrier or a positive COVID patient, you are directly exposing the people around you to the COVID bacteria because you are exhaling unfiltered air. This is a serious issue. I would also request you to disallow patients from wearing a mask with a valve to your clinic. You should not allow somebody else to wear that mask when he comes to visit you. You should not be standing next to him either, because we do not know whether that man is COVID negative or COVID positive. So these are the issues with N95.
Okay, Dr. Saab. Thank you very much. Oh,
okay, one more thing. Yes. Basically, there is an issue with how do you fit a mask. You're supposed to hold it in your hand, place it, and pass the lower elastic over first, and then the upper elastic, and then using your both hands, you're supposed to adjust the aluminum clip in such a manner that everything adapts. The lower part should seal on the chin. Those who have a habit of not shaving regularly are going to have a problem because it's going to leak from there. For bearded people, Dr. Thind will have an option available, which he will explain to you. The other thing is, how do you check whether it's leaking? We are supposed to press hard on the entire part of the mask and breathe heavily in or out. And if you find that any air is escaping from around the nose or around here, that is a sign that the mask is leaking. Second, you can use any strong fragrant aerosol, like maybe an anti-mosquito spray, or even a room freshener, or even a perfume. Spray it, say about 2 feet away from your face. If you can smell it, your mask is leaking. Even an FFP2 mask or an FFP1 mask will not allow you to smell the fragrance. It's good enough to filter out even that. At 80% filtration, will not allow that odor to be filtered in. So that's how you check. Yes, Dr.
Right. Actually, I thought that Rajat would speak about the kiosk. So I'll take it up now because he's been on other things. Yeah, because I wanted you to speak about the kiosk and about the inline fan, but now I'll take it up. And then I'll move on to the question of what new equipment we should invest in. Now, what Rajat had come up with was the idea of the IDA, even though the guideline came in from the ADA, that we need a separate room where we remove our PPE and do the donning and doffing, was correct, like I mentioned, because we cannot change it in the operatory and we cannot walk out with it either into our reception. So we need an intermediary chamber. There's a video by Dr. Abhay Datarkar, which was, he's the head in Government Dental College, Nagpur. He's put it up, it's on YouTube, go through. There is one problem, he makes the patient also wear the foot portion of the PPE, which is correct because now we have COVID toes as a symptom, which is another thing why we should not start immediately, because the symptoms are appearing. Every day a new sign and symptom is appearing. So we should not do it. So when we were discussing this, that we have a problem in Mumbai clinics, that we do not have cross ventilation and we do not have space for a place to change the PPE. And some people who may be on rent may not be, we will need a thermometer. That Rajat will take up after some time. We may not have space to create to make, or the permission from your landlord to create changes. We may not have the money either. So now if you go to a mall, they have these portable kiosks. They're basically chambers that can be wrapped and folded. It's not the best solution, but it is a solution. So you remove everything from your from your reception, and your reception now serves as your changing place, and some part of it you can use it for your other work, but it is not a place where a patient will sit. So you can have a separate chamber which is created through using of a kiosk. If you have permission, then of course, if you have permission, can you see me now? If you have permission, then you can, of course, make a fixed barrier. And I really think that is a better idea. One thing about, since we don't have cross ventilation, and if we do have to do fogging, Dr. Rajat has come up with something known as an inline fan, which is basically an exhaust which pushes air out. Now, this is much better than creating exhaust between your operatory and your reception. or the place we are going to change, because your aerosol will move from your operatory to your reception if there is an exhaust in between. So the inline fan makes a lot of sense, because once your fogging is over, you just switch on the fan and it will remove all the air. Dr. Himanshu has had experience with fogging, so he says that even that may not be required, because you just need to open your door. So these are the two things that I was actually hoping for them to say. Now the next question is, what new equipment should I invest in before I open my clinic? Some of it has been covered during the presentation by Dr. Himanshu and Dr. Rajat. Now, let's put it this way. Right now, I do not want you to buy anything. Nothing. The only thing you should buy is a notebook and a pen. And you should write down every day what you need to do. That is the only thing you should buy. A notebook and a pen. The second thing you need to buy, yeah, I know it's funny, but I was doing that yesterday, making notes. So it's required. And the guidelines are changing. What do you do? So the second thing you need to buy is a rubber dam. Because even if all these guidelines for disinfection disappear tomorrow, using a rubber dam is going to become mandatory. And if it isn't, it should become, because it is a question of your patient's safety. And yes, it's aerosol protecting thing. The good thing about the virus is that it has forced us to open our eyes and realize what we are dealing with. Apart from this, two things, Rajat has mentioned it, I'll just touch on it. One is UV lights. Now there's some controversy on whether we should use UVC or far UVC. From what I have gleaned, far UVC is a little closer to the X-ray spectrum, so it sounds dangerous to me. The UVC is a better option, but it will have dark zones, like how Rajat mentioned, which is why fogging also would be required. Fogging, different solutions have been suggested: hydrogen peroxide, chlorine dioxide, and silver nitrate with chlorine dioxide.
Hello.
Go ahead.
He's gone.
Dr. Rajat, can you take up on Rapid G?
Yes, I was about to come to that. Rapid G is sort of a powder. Yeah, Ripple, are you back?
Yeah, so that's what I was saying, that these, first you need to figure out what solution. From my study, it appears that chlorine dioxide or chlorine dioxide plus silver nitrate is the best option. So the rubber dam is what I would recommend, and a notebook is what I would recommend. The others, the UVC, the fogging, and the high vac may be solutions, and I'll leave that to Dr. Rajat and Dr. Himanshu to talk about. Dr. Rajat, over to you. Hello?
So like I was saying, there is a article, and I will share it with you, which clearly states that chlorine dioxide has been proven effective against coronavirus. I will not say COVID-19, but generally against coronavirus. So it has been proven. There is no guesswork according to that. Because a lot of guidelines that we are getting, these are general guidelines which can be useful against certain bacteria and certain flu, but we do not have anything very specifically against coronavirus, against COVID-19 as of now. Very limited information is available, and that's why it is ever changing. Another part, I would not want anyone, any of you, the viewers, to feel negative about dentistry right now. Before I proceed any further, today's session is not about scaring you, showing you the negative aspects of a dentistry or a dental business. It's not about putting your morale down. It is only about raising some red flags regarding the guidelines, so that you, me, or anyone else whom we know should not get into any trouble. Wait. Our only aim today is to inform all of you, these are the reasons, these are the dark zones, please wait. That's all. Dentistry is definitely going to boom. Dentistry is going to be one of the most profitable businesses in the short and the long term, and we will discuss that towards the end. So please don't be disheartened. There is some or the other answers to all the questions, all the problems. Do not be disheartened. Now, let me come back to what are the instruments that are newer instruments that we can or we should invest in. I completely agree with Dr. Ripple. We should not invest in anything as of now. There is no short-term or long-term guidelines or protocols or substantiation or citation or articles to prove any of these work. Right now, what is happening is there is panic, and this panic.
सर जी 1 मिनट आप शांत हो जाइए, मेरी बात सुनिए. मैं इन लोग ने
रिपल
किया था और जैसे आपको जो
रिपल प्लीज म्यूट.
हाँ मेरी बात तो सुन.
रिपल प्लीज म्यूट.
हाँ अग्रीड.
रिपल nevertheless I don't think he can hear me.
अच्छा आप 1 मिनट अभी.
Let me start with infrared thermometers. Let me talk about how I was talking about that industry has become dealer-driven dentistry. Dealers are coming up with newer machines, newer equipments, and they are trying to sell it off. We should not fall for it. One prime example that I want to give you is approximately
रजत ने कियोस्क और इनलाइन फैन का बात नहीं किया जो एक्चुअली करना चाहिए था. वो कंफ्यूज हो रहा है इसीलिए मैंने बोला.
प्लीज म्यूट.
कैन म्यूट डॉक्टर रिपल. हाँ सिंह सर रिपल को म्यूट कर दीजिए ना.
हेलो.
ओके. Yeah,
Ripple, please mute. People could not. Yes. Yeah. Sorry about that. So I'll start that again. Right now, what is happening is dealer-driven dentistry. Dealers are coming out with newer equipment, newer machines, and they are forcing it down our throat that use this. Use it, and this will definitely, and you can start the clinic tomorrow. Please ask them to demonstrate in an ICU on a COVID patient. I challenge them. Please do that. You will not be able to find even one person to put the step forward. They will not be confident enough. Now, if you see how economics work, approximately 25 to 30 days ago, I was contacted by at least 10 dealers who was trying to sell me infrared thermometers, and they were all ranging from 10 to 15,000 rupees. And because my child is only 8 years, I have bought an infrared thermometer a few years ago, and I know they actually cost somewhere around 900 to 1,000, and that's it. They are not worth beyond that. But yesterday night, I saw a dealer, and I will not name which city, but one of the cities of India, who is now asking 2,800 rupees for the thermometer. Panic purchase, panic buying. There will be no demand, and definitely all these multifolds, the exorbitant pricing that the dealers have started will fall. Everything will come down to its original cost.
Yes, sir. Hello. Dr. Rajat?
Dr. Rajat, you're gone.
Hello?
Dr. Rajat, are you back?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Please complete.
I was saying, let us not get into the panic purchase, because IR thermometers, which were 15 to 18,000 rupees a few weeks ago, are now 2,800 as of yesterday night. One of the dealer has quoted that price to me. Not that I'm going to buy it, just for information. There is so much of duplicate material that is available, because some of these mushrooming dealers fly by night. Today they are dealers, tomorrow you will have to search and they will vanish all of a sudden, and you will be stuck with something fake. There's a lot of fake N95. A few days ago, there was a nabbing of 5 people in Bangalore, wherein worth 20 lakh rupees of N95 false fake masks were recovered. So there's a lot of panic buying, and which is leading to all these things. Please do not spend your hard-earned money on any of these. There are clear alternatives for the time being, till the time we are sure any or all of these machines can be useful. Now, if you see the extraoral suction from so many companies, and they are advising that if you use the extraoral suction, 90 to 98% of the aerosol generation that is being that will happen will be sucked away. My only suggestion is, these machines, as of today, what I know, minimum is 50,000. Minimum is 50,000. it is not worth according to me. Yes, in theory, it seems very good. It looks like a very good idea. But alternative thinking says that if I wait for a while, there are so many intensivists who use a small bag sort of a portable suction, and that is also a high suction with one bottle. Probably we can use that with a funnel, medical grade funnel. A lot of people who have the software, 3D printing software, they can make something like a funnel which can be fixed in different tubings according to the diameter, and they are completely autoclavable. Apart from that, a lot of people are suggesting pulse oximeter. I'm sorry, these tests may seem very good and very cheap, but they're not completely reliable. There are so many other ailments and diseases because of which the oxygen content in our body can be low. So just because you find someone walks into your clinic, you do a pulse oximeter, the oxygen levels are low. Now, by law, you can't force that fellow or that patient to go and get a COVID test done. You are not comfortable because now you are scared. I don't know how brave hearts you are. I am a scared chick probably. I'll be very scared if I have a patient like that. So it will keep running in my head. I won't be able to give my 100%. So that makes no sense. So these are clear alternatives are available, and we may not have to invest in all these things. Coming to fogger, not the fumigator. I'm not at all going to advise anyone to get into the fumigator in today's life, but fogger. Now fogger, again, there is a fogger and there is an ultra low volume fogger. Ultra low volume fogger again can be thermal, which is heat generated mist, or a cold mist that is being produced. What is the difference? These foggers have not been proven for medical use as of now. So there is very few research articles present. But by and large, what I could concede with it, either use a cold mist or you use a thermal ULB fogger, and results are comparable. There is no drastic difference. There will be some amount of wetness on the floor where the sediment, and you will have to use an alcoholic wipe to clean it. Now the alcoholic wipe should be of two types. One alcoholic wipe should be to use the first time to clean the surfaces, and for drying purposes, you should use some other method, a cloth or a different mop or something like that. So there are so many instruments available right now. There are so many newer equipments available right now that I am not comfortable, and I don't know, like Dr. Himanshu pointed out, they may become redundant by this year end. It may not be useful. I may not be able to follow these guidelines. I may be asked not to follow these guidelines in the near future because there is no particular specific 100% foolproof protocol as of today. What's the point in me parting away with some amount of my hard-earned money when I'm not even able to make the same, and my return of investment is almost negligible or probably negative? Let us spend, but let us have a lot of homework done before we spend that money. Spend the money in a smart way. Don't throw your money just because these things may give some amount of mental peace to you. There should be some amount of citation, research, substantiations according. That should be proven by all these dealers or the manufacturers. Dr. Himanshu, can I please request you to add on to that?
Yeah. I would like to ask Dr. Ripple to speak on the alternative microfoggers, but I would like to speak on what I've learned about the extraoral suctions. Now, whatever I learned is basically the extraoral suction is a modification of a wet and dry vacuum cleaner with a couple of UV lights fitted inside. Now, even for a standard wet and dry vacuum cleaner, you can buy a HEPA filter, which is about 1,000 rupees, whereas for our specialized machines, they're costing 4,400 rupees each. Now, the catch is here. The filter has a life of 40 hours before it gets blocked. So roughly about 2 weeks of use and your filter is gone. Now, the catch here is you have a UV light fitted inside below the filter. In shadow areas of the UV light, the filter will still have some live viruses and bacteria. So when you sit down to change the filter yourself, you are exposing yourself to a greater viral load stuck on the filter. This is something nobody seems to have thought about. I have a friend who's a dealer who's selling it, and he was very kind enough to tell me कि sir आप मत खरीदो, इसमें ये problem है, ये किसको पता नहीं. This is one sad thing. If you wish to make it yourself, you can use a wet and dry vacuum cleaner from Karcher. You can fit in the UV lights yourself. You can buy the HEPA filters off the market. The cheapest Karcher is about 5,000 to 6,000 rupees. The filters are about 1,000 rupees each. With the lights, you can end up at about roughly 10,000 rupees and you'll be done. Also remember, any of your high vacs are going to collect fluids inside there. That you have to somehow manage to disinfect. I would suggest, and I'm not sure whether it will work, you could suck in some antiseptic solution before you start using it on a patient. So what happens is your benzalkonium chloride or whatever is accumulating inside will kill the bacteria that lie inside. Now, how I realized this was I use a bottle suction. I have one bottle as a standby, and the other suction is a self-draining bottle, which is a plastic chamber with a pneumatic valve at the bottom. So when I switch it off, the valve will drain. Whenever I have anything overflowing, it collects in the bottle, and it used to be drained once in every 3 to 4 months because it doesn't fill up that fast. Whenever I used to drain it, it used to stink. Whenever I started adding 1 dapping glass full of glutaldehyde in that second bottle, the safety bottle, I've stopped getting odor. So any disinfectant you add to the bottle, you are going to have some amount of control. So what I was thinking was, suppose you have a bottle suction, you have 2 bottles. You fill up the first bottle, say about a centimeter with your solution, and the second bottle, you fill up 2/3 with the solution. In the second bottle, the air line in should be extended with a tube to end at the bottom of the bottle. So what happens is any air passing through will bubble through that. That will ensure any air passing into the pump is already disinfected before it exits into your operatory. This is one solution that I can think of. At the most, what you could also do is any of your used N95 masks, you can attach to the outlet air outlet of your vacuum pump. So you will be filtering out whatever is left over into your used N95, which you're going to discard anyways. So you discard whatever you are using, you attach it there. This is my solution to the suction conundrum. I don't know whether it will work. It's a suggestion.
Right. Thank you, Dr. Himanshu. ये चीजें बहुत ही कीमती हैं और वही पैसे से, डेंटिस्ट के पैसे से आएंगी, लेकिन सबसे ज्यादा मुश्किल है कि हमारे डेंटल क्लिनिक्स में बहुत सारी चीजें शो पीस बन जाती हैं।
Yes.
और ये शो पीस बाद में दिखाने के बहुत काम आते हैं, ये मैंने वहां से खरीदा था, ये मैंने वहां से खरीदा था। और इसमें सब कुछ देखने वाली बात ये भी है कि उसके बाद रेकरिंग कॉस्ट कितनी आएगी। जैसे आप बता रहे थे, हेपा फिल्टर की कॉस्ट फॉर 40 आवर्स के बाद उसको चेंज करना है और 4,500 रुपीज वो कॉस्ट करेगा, राइट? अब 4,500 रुपए, 4,500 रुपीज आप 40 घंटे, मतलब इट इज अप्रोक्सीमेटली 110 रुपीज पर आवर। और क्या हमें पेशेंट उस हिसाब से पैसे देगा? हमने जो अभी प्लान किया था अपने क्लिनिक में एक दिन बैठ के, तो इट इज अप्रोक्सीमेटली 2,600 रुपीज पर पेशेंट पर विजिट। तो पेशेंट विल पे अस अकॉर्डिंग टू, वी हैव टू सी टू इट। और पीपी किट पहनने का जो फायदे आपने बताए वो तो ठीक है, लेकिन एक उसका फायदा बहुत बढ़िया फायदा लग रहा है मेरे को कि मैं पतला हो जाऊंगा, बिकॉज स्टीम एंड सोना का बहुत अच्छा प्रोविजन है, अंदर बहुत पसीना आता है और आप पतले हो सकते हो। एंड बिफोर, इससे पहले कि मैं ज्यादा बोलूं और डॉक्टर रिपल बीच में आ जाए, तो इट्स बेटर टू कॉल रिपल। हाय रिपल, विल यू प्लीज डू इट?
The foggers report.
What am I supposed to take now?
Foggers, the industrial foggers.
Look, my actually knowledge about the foggers actually is not that great. But I do know that there is macro fogger and micro fogger, and we need to have a mist formation. And we were seeing the foggers on the net. The moment the word medical gets attached to the device, the price of the device increases. So a fogger of that grade would suddenly jump to about 8,000-10,000 rupees. But you'd also have like paint sprayers and stuff, which are like on a much lower range of about 1,500 rupees or even less. So I would ask you to evaluate this as a possible option before jumping and buying anything. Dr. Himanshu has suggested even to put a filter, car filter to the compressor. Which sounds like a pretty decent idea. My only concern with all these filters is how are we going to clean them? So that I think somebody should talk about. And yes, somebody's written here, but cheap foggers make surfaces wet. you need a moist, you need a mist fogger that produces a mist. So that is quite now understood. Rajat, you had a way about that. वो moist कर देता है, उसका क्या करना है, you and also that. So please somebody speak about the filters कैसे change करना है. Dr. Thind, please.
Yes, sir.
I'll do the filters first.
Yes, yes.
See, in the air filter is a replaceable filter. If you're in your car, when you go for service, every 6 months or a year, you're supposed to change the air filter. Initially, you take it out, jerk it on the floor, blow it with air, and then change it. But we cannot jerk it on the floor or blow it with air, so we just change the filter. It's about 150, 200 rupees for an air filter of a car. So don't worry about the recurring cost; it's very low.
Right.
For the compressor.
Would you like to add something?
Yes, sir. I would like to also talk about what I forgot, the HCQs. There was a lot of debate that now India has become the hub for HCQs, and I'm very happy that we are making money out of it. The hub we are providing and helping all the neighbors, all the neighboring countries and far-off countries as well. But at the same time, I would like to inform, do not self-medicate yourself with HCQ. It is known, HCQ has been known as it can give you a heart attack. It is not a very simple drug. Over the counter, you can take it, you can pop one. You are actually supposed, it is actually supposed to be given once a week. If you start taking it on a Tuesday, then you're supposed to take it next week after 7 days on a Tuesday. And this is supposed to be for approximately 4 to 6 weeks. And this is an antiviral drug. As of now, there is no research that can directly prove that it is effective against COVID-19. But there are certain related contraindications and risks related to HCQ. So please talk to your physician, an MD, and then go in for that. Do not listen to anybody else and directly jump into taking the HCQs. Another part is, some of my friends and surgeons mostly, they were of the opinion that we can use double or triple gowns. Now please understand, whenever you have a surgical gown, the neck area is exposed, and that's a huge area to be exposed. Even if you wear a head cap and a face shield, the neck area is exposed. So that can be one of the dangers. Second thing, how are you planning to wash and how are you planning to autoclave? Because whenever you are washing and autoclaving, it is inevitable that the surfaces of this surgical gown or the PPE kit for that matter, because a lot of these mushrooming dealers are now coming up with reusable, autoclavable. I'm sorry, it's not so. And it has already been explained by Dr. Himanshu. Why not? If you want, probably he can explain it again. Why not? The lamination part. It will inevitably touch other surfaces. For an example, supposedly I've had a very good day. I've made a lot of money. I remove my PPE kit and I go home and I run to my washroom and I have a bath. And I have kept my used PPE in the bag that came along with the PPE. And now I will have to use the same washing machine that we use for our daily course to wash our clothes every day. And I wash my PPE kit with soap in that washing machine. It is inevitable that some amount of, or like I said, at least one viral infection, if it is present on my PPE. Let us not even talk about coronavirus. Some amount of bacterial infection, which is generally seen, will now come to that washing machine, and it will be a place for transmission to my family when they wash their clothes. The same thing goes for the autoclave as well. And while we talk about all the big things, I will take care and I will do this and I have the knowledge and I have the power like a He-Man. Do not forget 90% of these things are done by your assistants or maids, depending upon how your clinic is. They do not have this knowledge and it is very difficult to teach them. Please be reminded of the times when these people came to you for the first time. How difficult was it to teach them to mix cement? And after a while, they have learned it over the years. Now, these are the newer protocols. They do not understand sterilization and disinfection the way we understand, the way we are panicked. They are probably not. If you call them, if you don't give them proper guidelines, worst case scenario, they may leave and it is very difficult generally to get good helping hands. Second part, if they don't do it properly, once, twice, thrice, you will teach them, you will supervise. After that, you will take a back seat. And that time, if they commit a mistake, it's a spread. And to my limited knowledge, and it is unconfirmed, one patient or one doctor or one staff member in your clinic, if found positive, your clinic will be sealed and quarantined, varying from 14 to 45 days. 45 days. If you are planning to open the clinic to earn some amount of money because you have fixed expenditure, imagine the amount of money you will lose during that quarantine period and the social stigma associated with that.
Thank you.
One thing to add, HCQ has a drug interaction with metformin. So all those who are diabetics, you have to discontinue metformin 2 to 3 days before you start HCQ. Please remember that.
HCQ के बारे में तो सब जरूरी सोचना पड़ेगा, बिकॉज कोरोना के टाइम पे बंदा हार्ट अटैक से मर जाए, अच्छा नहीं लगेगा ना। बच्चों को क्या बताएंगे कि हमारे दादाजी कोरोना के टाइम पे उसमें हार्ट अटैक से मर गए थे तो बहुत बुरा लगेगा। और वैसे भी आपको गवर्नमेंट आपका फनरल करती है, सारा कुछ बुक करती है, तो यहाँ पे तो खुद करना पड़ेगा, बड़ी मुश्किल होगी। सो इसमें एक बात और ऐड करना चाहता था मैं कि जो अपने प्रोडक्ट्स लेने हैं, जो इन्वेस्टमेंट करनी है, ये भी देख लीजिए कि विल योर स्टाफ विल बी एबल टू कोप विद इट। क्या वो आपका हेपा फिल्टर चेंज करने को रेडी हो जाएगा, और क्या वो जो आप प्रोटोकॉल्स बना रहे हैं, क्या उस प्रोटोकॉल में वो कोई गड़बड़ तो नहीं करेगा। जैसे डॉक्टर रजत ने बताया कि अगर एक चीज मिस हो गई तो सारे का सारा प्रोटोकॉल खत्म हो जाता है। तो दैट इज व्हाई मैं जो क्लिनिक नहीं खोलने का भी सोच रहा हूँ, मैंने नहीं क्लिनिक खोला, इसीलिए नहीं खोला बिकॉज मेरे स्टाफ ने अगर एक गलती कर दी और मैं उनको बताऊं, उनको पता भी नहीं होगा, उनसे गलती हो जाएगी, मिस्टेक इज ए मिस्टेक, और उसमें मेरा सारा का सारा वो काम खत्म हो जाएगा। सो टाइम इज ऑलरेडी 15 minutes left, so let us complete it. Dr. Ripple, will you continue for this thing of the economics? Next question. कि हमें
One second, Dr. Rajat, you have to finish face shields.
Face shield, yes, sorry. Dr. Singh, may I?
हाँ सर बिल्कुल।
Yeah.
Yes, regarding the face shield, there is a varying thickness. There are a lot of good colleagues who have made videos to bring down the economics associated with face shields. They are saying use the OHP. I'm very sorry, and it is disheartening to say this, but OHP shields do not have the thickness. You need a minimum of 200 mm thickness, and there are commercially available. I will talk about only two right now. There is a face shield that has been made by one of the Indian dealers, and it has a sponge or on the forehead. And that face shield, if you buy in bulk, is approximately 58 rupees. But he's suggesting that it is a single use and dispose. So when you use and dispose, it is only 58 to 60 rupees of added cost to your inventory. Second thing is, there is a Studs company which has made a visor, but because it's a medical equipment now, it is called as a medical face shield. It's actually a visor. Generally the Sardarjis and everyone, they cannot wear the helmet, so they wear a visor alone, and that is allowed by the law. So this is like a visor, but it has a thickness. What their company is suggesting is you can cold sterilize and reuse it again. But then again, I would suggest a cold, thick visor from Studs company makes more sense to me, because I am the owner of the clinic. At the same time, let us not forget, a lot of us have consultants coming in. I cannot keep a dedicated visor for a consultant. How do I preserve it? So I would want to prefer that 58 to 60 rupees of a disposable face shield, because I also have to think from my consultant's point of view. He may not or she may not have complete trust in me and my staff that we have cleaned and sterilized the reusable face shield 100%. So they may be more comfortable with the disposable ones. So we have two options over there. But as of now, I would want to reiterate, do not invest in things, in investments right now. Please hold yourself back. Do not spend the money right now.
Shield. See, when you're working with a face shield, the optical acuity of the glass that's in front. But with the Studs, you have a polycarbonate shield. With the disposable ones, you have a flimsy plastic shield. What you're going to be seeing through that, will be cheese and chalk. The polycarbonate will give you slightly better optical acuity. I had a friend who had used the studs. Even she said, for an impaction, everything is fine. But by chance, you have to do a root canal, you'll be seeing a distorted view from a cylindrical sheet of plastic. So please consider that a better quality optical acuity glass of polycarbonate is better than a disposable one. Yeah. Okay, good.
Dr. Ripple, please continue with the economics.
So I think economics पे एक minute जरा before we jump to that, because we forgot implications. There's been a lot of overlap. I'll just shoot that implications bit in 2-3 points, and then I'll come to the economics. Then you guys can expand on it. Very simple thing is, if you start your clinic right now and you get an infection, your clinic gets sealed. You get branded as the doctor whose clinic was where the infection occurred. This spoils your name in the community. If this happens to multiple people, multiple dentists, then we will be spoiling our profession's name.
Yes.
Apart from this, so it is will spoil our professional image in front of patients. And so we are talking about clinic getting sealed, our name being spoiled, because we will be on the media for all the wrong reasons. We will lose patients because people in our area will not come to our clinic thinking कि इधर sterilization अच्छा नहीं था या इधर पहले से infection अभी भी पड़ा हुआ है. Apart from this, our assistants, it's our responsibility to pay for their treatment. So we have to get medical insurance, and this is mandated by the law. So if we get medical insurance for our assistants and for us, the problem is the insurance will not pay for that if it occurs if we do a procedure that is not allowed. So if we do an aerosol generating procedure at the present moment, and if a patient gets infection, or if our assistants get infection, or if we get infection, then we will be responsible for those payments because the insurance will not pay. And for your information, 1 day cost in a hospital from a message I just got a few days ago is about 4.5 lakh rupees. So I think you need to understand whether you can afford to practice rather than afford to stay home. So this now moves on to the economics, like Dr. Thin said. They have a very good kind of breakdown on the seasons and all. So they'll come to that. My take is this, that with the non-aerosol procedures that we are currently expected to do, and only the emergency procedures that we are supposed to do, we will not earn enough to pay for any disease we may contract. So the risk to reward ratio is not there. We may not be making money right now, but we are also not incurring expenses. I'm paying half salary to my assistant. I'm going to negotiate with my landlord, and I'm sure he'll agree. Even the government had said that landlords have to let 3 months pass. There is a petition going on regarding the rent. So that will get sorted. I cannot go to a movie theater. I cannot go out to eat food. So my expenses, just one moment. So my expenses are less. I'll let Dr. Thind take it up.
No, take it, sir. Take it.
So, like I said, that we have a lot to lose financially, and I do not want to risk my future practice for near reward. I'm not interested in winning the battle and losing the war. I'd rather lose the war. I prefer a long-term perspective. I do not think that sitting at home for 2-3 months is going to damage me so much that I'll not be able to survive. This is my perspective. Dr. Thind, you can.
Yes, Dr. Himanshu, will you continue?
Yeah, see, I would like to speak to you in a slightly different manner. Whether this is an actual pandemic, or it's as the conspiracy theory say, it's a biological weapon. Whatever it is, these things will weaken over time. The Spanish flu was the only viral infection that mutated into a stronger infection every time it grew. All other viral infections have mutated into milder forms and have been less virulent and less effective. If you notice what is going on, China has got about 40 to 50 cases a day now. So it is tapering off. We can hope for a tapering off by September, October, and virtual disappearance of the virus by December, with occasional cases popping up here and there. My thing would be, our main season for earning is already gone. Our peak season will start now in November, December. And incidentally, that's the time the viral intensity should drop. So I would rather prefer we waited till October, start putting things into place, and start when your peak season starts. The financial viability, see, we have to survive. We have to live through it. It's a question of whether you will survive or you will be a casualty of the war. Sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Dr. Himanshu. Over to Dr. Rajat.
So my take is that regarding the economics during and after the COVID situation that we are facing, first of all, it is inevitable that some amount of PPE kits have to be used. And as of today, I can tell you that there is no PPE kit that can be easily available to us within our budget and that can be reusable. So we are mostly dependent upon disposable PPE kits. So some amount of enhancement in our charges will be inevitable. It is not possible for us to bear these charges. If I have to perform a root canal and I am not an excellent endodontist and I need minimum 2 appointments, or in certain cases where the infection is such that I need 2 appointments and I take 4-handed dentistry, then I need to have 2 PPE kits extra charged on the first appointment.
Good afternoon, sir.
Am I audible?
Hello.
Hello.
Yes.
Who is it?
Someone's talking right now.
Dr. Shirpal was for us. Anyway,
Okay.
Dr. Rajat, please continue.
So, like I was saying, in the first appointment, we will have to charge 2 PPE kits extra. In the second appointment, again 2 PPE kits extra. So, enhancement of charges is something we need to plan it out. How are you going to battle it out? I can tell you right now, patients have accepted some amount of enhancement in charges towards everything possible, not just dentistry, even otherwise. Even if you want to go out and eat, there will be some amount of enhancement. It is unconfirmed news, but today morning that I saw, liquor, the charges for liquor in Delhi have been enhanced by 70% and there is no drop in sales. So everyone is mentally being conditioned by other factors in the market that everything's going to be expensive. If we want some respect for ourselves, we should adhere by the same. Because always remember, from a patient's point of view, when a patient comes to you and you say, no, I have only increased 100 rupees, the first doubt the patient will get, probably the doctor has not upgraded very well. Probably the doctor is not according to the international standards of safety. And that is why there is only 100 rupees of an increase or probably no increase. It will cast a doubt. Although you must have upgraded the clinic, you are ready to bear all the charges, but that will backfire. At the same time, I want to inform all our colleagues, please be positive. In the short term, after the post-COVID, we will get a lot of cases, especially those who have pain or discomfort. The essential services, as of now, they are classified as. Implant may not be one of the most sought after treatment, but bridges, fixed dental prostheses will be. Laminates, veneers, yes, I am expecting a drop in their number, but then again, do you expect people to not get married? Do you expect people to not go on TV, not act, not entertain in their own lives? People will need cosmetic treatments. If someone's getting married, the bare minimum, they will come for a bleaching or a whitening session. They may require certain other cosmetics. Only the volumes may vary in the short term, but in the long term, I suppose COVID, in a very loose terms, I say, is the answer to the prayers of all the dentists throughout the last century. All the dentists, every dentist used to always say, hey Prabhu, oh God, let there be some disease which is particularly pertaining to the oral cavity, and then we dentists will get some amount of respect and some amount of opportunity to earn what we deserve. This is that opportunity. Don't let go of this opportunity. COVID has given branding to dentistry like nothing else. No other peer could. Everyone is talking about dentistry today. Everyone's talking about the dental today. People are calling up and they are requesting, please open the clinic. They are asking, when are you opening the clinic? These are the same people, we used to give them appointments and they used to not turn up, not show up for the appointments and not inform us prior. Today, we have some amount of respect gained. They are not taking us like just another specialty. Danti to hai. It's not like that. They understand our value. They understand how important dentistry is. Do not let go of this good opportunity. Right now, government has given us a declaration form and all the IDA bodies, DCI there is a circular of a consent, written informed consent regarding COVID. This is the golden opportunity. Please start with written informed consents regarding all the treatments. In case any patient inquires, पहले तो नहीं करते थे, अब क्यों करते हो? You have a very simple answer. This is by law. We are expected to and supposed to and instructed to do this. That's it. Upgrade your dental treatment, upgrade your clinic, upgrade your practice. Now is the time that we can build a practice that we aimed for, we dreamed for. This is a golden opportunity. And this is the positive message. Do not get disheartened. There is a lot in store for dentists, especially post-COVID.
Thank you, Dr. Rajat. ये basically otherwise also in this season April and May लोग बच्चों के एग्जाम खत्म होते थे और उनकी एडमिशंस होती थी और बड़ी बड़ी मोटी मोटी फीस स्कूल में जाती थी, वो इस बार गई नहीं है, ठीक है. और हमारे क्लिनिक्स में, डेंटल क्लिनिक्स में हमारा ना, आई डोंट नो अबाउट महाराष्ट्र बट इन पंजाब इट यूज्ड टू बी लीन सीजन. वैसे ही बंद ही होता था बिकॉज एनआरआई सीजन हो गया, उसके बाद गर्मी शुरू होती थी और हमारे यहाँ पे कनक की वो कटाई होती है, ठीक है. उस कारण इट वाज सपोज्ड टू बी लीन सीजन, ऑलवेज लीन सीजन ही होता था. फिर मई में और उसके बाद जून और जुलाई इन सीजन में वेकेशंस होती हैं तो छुट्टी होती थी. तो वैसे हमारा अभी खर्चा कोई नहीं है. आई थिंक व्हाई शुड वी ओपन एट ऑल जब इतनी सारी प्रॉब्लम्स हैं. और सबसे बड़ी प्रॉब्लम है स्टाफ की. अगर हम स्टाफ को बुलाते हैं और उसके पेरेंट्स कहते हैं कि हमें नहीं आना, तो वी विल बी लूजिंग द स्टाफ. और स्टाफ सबसे ज्यादा मुश्किल होने वाली है ये. और अभी लेट अस कम बैक टू समरी. आई विल स्टार्ट विद डॉक्टर रिपल. डॉक्टर रिपल प्लीज स्टार्ट.
डॉक्टर थिंद, आपने जो बोला कि अभी अगर हमें इतना पैसा नहीं मिलना है तो अभी why do we need to start, and that is primarily a proper suggestion. I have a few things that I wanted to say. We've discussed a lot today. Now for all the people who still want to start or are still wondering whether we should start, I have a few questions. You're in a zone and the trains are not working. How will your assistants come to your clinic? And if they are not coming into the clinic, how will you manage infection? Question number one. Secondly, assuming that you manage to get your assistant, how do you know how, and you have to make some modifications to your clinic, where are you going to get an electrician or a carpenter from? Are those people going to be COVID negative? How will you know that? Is your assistant COVID negative? How will you know that? Thirdly, how many labs will support you at the present moment? And think about it. What is coming from the lab, are you sure it is not infected? The virus is supposed to stay on metal surfaces. Your metal trial, what are you going to do? Are you going to autoclave it? How are you going to autoclave the shellac rim? These are things that you need to think about. And finally, dealers. How many dealers will be able to support you with proper material in this present moment? Because even his man cannot travel by train because the train is not working and he may not be purchasing right now. So the point is, I think that people right now, because they are feeling a little fed up in the house, they have suddenly convinced themselves that it is a better idea to start. We all believe that it is not so. And if you're feeling confined in your house, let me tell you, I went on 2nd of May to my clinic to clean it. Luckily, that was the one day when it opened, and then immediately it shut, but I was able to clean it. And I want to share an experience that happened to me there is, I was feeling cooped up in my house, but believe me, I was feeling more claustrophobic in my clinic because my clinic is smaller than my house. So I felt like I went from a large jail to a smaller jail. So right now, my advice is, with all the negatives, please stay at home. Ultimately, it is up to you. And we will have a lot of positive things coming in the next few months. So discretion is the better part of valor, and prudence is what we should be adopting. Over to you, Dr. Singh.
Thank you, Dr. Ripple. The best question जो डॉक्टर निखिल देश पांडे ने पूछा चैट में कि अगर आपको डेंटिस्ट को पूछे पेशेंट कि क्या आपने अपना कोविड टेस्ट कराया, क्या आप कोविड पॉजिटिव हो या नहीं हो, व्हाट विल बी आंसर? अब रोज 2500 रुपए का टेस्ट करा के सुबह आएंगे हम पहले, उसके बाद देन वी विल गो देयर टू अवर क्लिनिक. यस डॉक्टर हिमांशु.
I don't know to say anything. Dr. Rajat.
सर कोविड टेस्ट ऐसे हो ही नहीं सकते विदाउट अ प्रिस्क्रिप्शन. दैट इज अगेन अ प्रॉब्लम.
Yes.
And self prescription is not allowed.
Yes. Then what do we do? Every day I will have to call up my physician friend and I will have to disturb his morning coffee and I will have to tell him, please write a prescription. I have to get a test done because I need to do elective procedures by which I will earn at least 1,000 to 2,000 rupees per day, not more than that.
Yes.
Before COVID, he will shoot me and he will kill me.
Yes, Dr. Ripple, you want to say something?
Since you mentioned this, I forgot to mention it. Whenever we start, before we start, we do need to get COVID tests done for ourselves and our staff. It may not, it will at least show our sincerity if by any chance we have to appear in a court of law. The guidelines for whether we should test or not test are given in the IDA guidelines. So the IDA guidelines, which were issued on 20th of April, has those guidelines about self-testing. And I think it's a good idea, but not right now. And I don't think we can do it every day. I think we can just do it when we start proper practice.
Okay, sir. Yes, Dr. Himanshu.
Can we start taking the questions because people are leaving?
Yes. Anything you want to add, Dr. Himanshu?
No, nothing.
Yes, Dr. Rajat.
I just want to add, there are a lot of questions in a lot of colleagues. My neighborhood dentist is starting to work. I will lose my patients. They will go to him. They will never come back. He will make or she will make more money. I am at loss. My patients are calling up and asking me, ordering me, that clinic is open. Why is your clinic not open? I need to inform all these people. I started my practice 4 years ago. Put yourself in the shoes of the yesteryears. 3 days before, whenever you had started your practice, there was nothing called as my patient. You started with 0. Today you have so many patients. So now when we restart our clinic, we have an established name for ourselves. We have at least a few patients who are loyal to us. And most importantly, if something happens to us, most of our patients may not wait for us to recover. And if we die, most of our patients will miss us for probably few days, but it's a bigger loss for our family.
Yes,
So,
Dr.
these times, rather than trying to earn peanuts, it's better to safeguard yourself.
डॉक्टर रजत, इसमें एक बात और भी है कि अगर बाई चांस आपसे कोई गलती हो गई तो लोग आपको माफ नहीं करेंगे. एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन आपको माफ नहीं करेगी.
कोई नहीं करता.
अरे मीडिया माफ नहीं करेगा और आपके बारे में आएगा, ये देखो ये जा रहा है कोरोना का जलाद. ये कोरोना का जलाद डेंटिस्ट, इसने कितने लोग पॉजिटिव कर दिए. आप चाहे वो जो कुछ मर्जी कर दें, they can do anything they like.
सर वो दिल्ली में एक डॉक्टर के साथ हुआ. he is not a dentist, he is a GP. वो बाहर से एक लेडी आई, कुवैत से एक लेडी आई, she was positive. उसने आके यहाँ पे अपना चेकअप कराया, डॉक्टर को पॉजिटिव किया. डॉक्टर की वजह से अप्रोक्सीमेटली 100 या 200 पेशेंट्स और पॉजिटिव हो गए और सारे का सारा ब्लेम उस बेचारे डॉक्टर पे डाल दिया गया.
क्या बात है.
मीडिया ने किया है ये. लास्ट मंथ मार्च एंड किया है ये.
We have Dr. Atamjit who want to ask a question. Anybody who want to ask a question, please raise your hand. Yes, Dr. Adamjeet. Hello, I have unmuted you, sir.
Dr. Thin,
Yes, I can hear you.
I would want to add something that you were discussing. We went to DC 3 days before with my president. I am a secretary for IDEA Ludhiana. And what he told me that DC told us कि अगर आप सारे प्रोटोकॉल्स के साथ कर रहे हो और अगर उसमें कोई ब्रीच नहीं है, if something comes like this, asymptomatic carrier, then we will not say anything. But if the breach is found, the inquiry will be taken up and the action will be done. तो हम सारे प्रोटोकॉल्स पूरे नहीं कर सकते. That is the you can say a done deal. हम लोग कर ही नहीं सकते. So फंसेंगे यहाँ से भी फंसेंगे वहां से. तो legally you cannot expect from anyone कि anyone is going to help you out.
Yes.
That is the ground reality which I have seen three days before.
Thank you,
Yes,
Dr.
Dr. Thin.
Thank you for sharing.
Thank you for sharing. Dr. Rajiv Chitkubi, can we hear something from you, sir? Hello. Hello.
Medical legal cases and in a medical legal consultation in an insurance firm that deals. Dr. Rajiv has written.
Okay. Medical legal cases and is a medical legal consulting insurance firm that deals with indemnity insurance for doctors specifically. Since presently Epidemic Act is implemented, no doctor will be held responsible for spreading a disease to patients or to assistants via professional work. Wow. Dr. Rajiv Chitkubi is basically known for some innovative things. He has done so many good things in the industry that वो बता ही नहीं जा सकते और I hope that everybody of you is knowing about it. Yes. Anybody else? So, Dr. Ripple, Dr. Rajat, do you want to finalize?
I want to respond to Dr. Rajiv. Dr. Rajiv, what you say is legally absolutely correct. The problem is the same thing is not known or understood by those people who are providing us indemnity insurance. I asked the person from whom I have taken indemnity insurance for me and my team, and it is the 5th day as of today. I asked them the same thing, that should anything go wrong, should there be one person, one patient who is proven positive after taking treatment from my clinic, but he has or she has been infected outside somewhere, what will happen? Will the indemnity insurance support me in such a case? He told that he will find out with the lawyers, the team of lawyers that they have. And as of today, they have not come back with any positive response. That's point number one. Another thing that he immediately responded was that, sir, it may be that we may be able to support you, but that will again take some time. And the social stigma that you will face during that phase, which could be a week, 10 days or a month, that will cause more damage to your reputation and your earnings in the short and the long term, because no one is bothered about the end result of such cases other than the patient party and the doctor involved. The society per se will only see the headlines, the breaking news, and get over with it. So social stigma associated will be branded along with it. It will stay with us for a long time.
Yes, I agree. I agree to all the points. This is an opinion that I took from one of my friends. I don't know how far it was sure. That's why I put the point across in this forum. But I'm very happy with all the discussion that has happened. Yes.
Dr.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Rajiv. Dr. Nikhil Deshpande, will you like to say something?
Hi guys, I've been listening to the discussion. I'm very happy that I'm sorry, is the sound bad or something? Yeah. Hi guys, I'm very happy that you had this very, very genuine and honest discussion. That is rare in today's time. Everybody is trying to be a hero. Everybody is trying to sell equipments and materials and PPE and whatnot, and whatever global level discussions and evidence-based discussions that we have been participating in are clearly indicating as of now that we really don't have the true idea of what's happening. We haven't understood this well as yet, and that we should be patient and we should try and understand this much better before we get back to our practice. That is one thing, and I'm happy that this discussion has eventually concluded like that, and that's good. Also, the government attitude is also very, very apathetic, and that is not surprising because the government has taken a stand whereby they are saying that we can go ahead and practice if we want to by taking the proper care and following the proper guidelines when there is no proper guideline. Like Ripple said, the guideline is changing every day. To keep abreast about what is changing, you have to keep logging in and checking. So, there is no proper guideline from the government. The government eventually is going to hold us responsible if something goes wrong. And the reason that the government will never issue a clear-cut guideline saying that, okay, all dentists, please sit at home for now, don't go and practice, because if they tell us to sit at home, they have to compensate us, and that is not possible. So they will never say sit at home officially, but what they are basically trying to tell us is please don't go and start something and get into trouble, you will not be able to save. So let's be smart, and thank you for this discussion. I was looking forward to it, and I'm happy that it has ended and concluded like this. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Dr. Nikhil. Over to Dr. Ripple. He wants to say something.
Yeah, Nikhil, what you mentioned is that the guidelines changing and the government is not telling us anything clearly. The thing is, it's called passing the buck, and people don't want to take the responsibility. If the government tells that dentist, you must sit at home, they will have people saying that we have dental problems and you are telling the patient to sit at home. If the government has asked for PPE and we do not have enough PPEs, it suddenly modified the guidelines for the PPEs. So you have to understand that the government has its own difficulties. You're running a nation. So they are also under advisory, and it's not like the people sitting at the top of the government are doctors. So they are making guideline, or they are giving their orders based on whatever they are guided to. And because the people who are supposed to guide them are themselves confused, the government is also confused. So I think this is why we should wait, because I believe that when things settle down, we may not need a lot of things that are right now being told us are required. Ultimately, look at it. The coronavirus is a variant of the flu virus. So I do not know the future, but obviously we cannot continue working in this environment. Maybe, I'm not saying, maybe some months down the line or 1 year down the line, we may find that it is similar to the flu that we have every 6 months in a year, which is an accepted thing. Maybe we may have something like that because there have been cases of reinfection. So it's not like that you became COVID negative and you won't get a reinfection. But what if it comes to a point where it's an accepted thing and you get over it? So right now, the best thing is to wait. That's the only real advice I can give to anybody. WAIT. Wait. That's it.
Dr. Rajat wants to say something, sir.
I just want to add to what Ripple has already answered in very simple terms. Assumingly, many of us have started the clinic within the last 1 year. There is no way that you started the clinic expecting huge amount of patient walk-in. When I started the clinic, I asked and requested my parents to be ready to support me should I need their support during the first year. I assume all of you are in the same position. If there is any problem regarding your fixed expenditure, there is no shame in asking your relatives, your parents, if you're married, your in-laws, for temporary help. You can always pay them back. Worst case scenario, if you're shy, if your ego is too big, then you can take some loans, personal loans, but they will come at a very high interest. I will suggest against it, but that's an alternative idea. For all those people who have been practicing for over a year, it is high time that we see how we have taken care of finances, because it's only been 40-42 days. And if we are already drained of our finances, then where is the financial stability, financial thinking, financial smartness And if you didn't have the financial smartness, despite being working for over a year, how smart will your finances be during these days? And it's only about probably a month or two where you are restricted to only non-aerosol generating procedures. You will not be able to become some millionaire overnight. It's not possible. So both the ways, please have patience and most importantly, a positive attitude. Re-energize yourself. Spend time with your family. You will never get this time back. Look at your parents if you have parents, and I'm lucky to have parents. You will never be able to spend this golden time with them. It is golden for them as well. They miss spending time with us. When we get on with our work, they don't get to see us, they don't get to talk to us the way they want to. This is the time. Get their love, get their blessings.
Yeah. Hi, I just want to ask one question about medical indemnity. If a patient gets COVID, how can he prove that he got it from your clinic and that he didn't have it before he came, or that he got it after he left your clinic? So what is the point of taking medical indemnity for COVID when the patient cannot prove he got it at your clinic at that specific 1 hour?
He doesn't need to prove.
Yes.
So, no, you are innocent until proven guilty, right?
Yes, but the onus of proving that is on you. That is the problem in our country. Am I right, Rajat?
How can we prove when he got the COVID?
I'm telling you, that's the law in our country.
No, actually speaking, this may be taken as criminal, the negligence, medical negligence. In any medical negligence, it is the onus on the patient to prove that we were negligent. That's point number one. Point number two, what is happening as of now is, whenever there is a COVID positive patient, the government and the agencies are trying to source check where the patient got that infection from, where all the patient has gone and probably infected those people. So hypothetical situation, you have a patient, you check their IR thermometer or however, you check their temperature, you will prove your protocol. Now the patient went out and instead of going home, he went shopping, and probably after yesterday, he may go for a liquor shopping and he will catch infection over there. But when the source check is being done, the source check will also be for you. You will also be a part of that protocol, and you will also come under the radar. And under the radar, you are not expected to show symptoms immediately. So it is invariable that you will also have to follow the quarantine principles. So that is again the financial loss and a mental agony. That's the bare minimum. And if in case, worst case scenario, the patient is able to prove or disapprove that he went straight from your clinic and he has got the infection, then looking at the past, I would not pin a lot of my hopes on the legal system against a doctor. I have seen very few doctors winning cases, and I have seen a lot of doctors casted a doubtful eye upon. That is what I have seen.
And can I say something? Can I say something regarding this question about indemnity for a COVID patient? All of this discussion that you are having right now is assuming that the patient survives the infection. If the patient dies of the infection, the negligence will amount to criminal negligence. So it's a little twisted.
Thank you, Dr. Nikhil.
One more question. Should we increase our charges by how much %? And is it okay to charge 1,500 for consultation like the other medical consultants who normally charge 1,500 to 2,000 in Mumbai?
Yes, Dr. Rajat.
Dear colleague, please understand, no one can fix your charges. No one can decide what you will charge. No one can dictate what you are worth. If it's just you and me, you cannot decide how good I am, and I cannot decide what you are worth. That's point number one. So how much to increase? Sorry, it completely depends upon you. Without naming any of the peers, there are very eminent seniors sitting in Mumbai, and I come from a tier 2 city. They may probably charge 20,000 rupees a consultation, and I can't say no to them. I can't say, sir, you are charging 20,000 for consultation. This is not wrong. This is not right. You should not be. I'm sorry. That's your personal call.
Right.
Second point, enhancement of charges has to be done, because there are two things, there are two scenarios. First, I will upgrade my clinic, I will buy PPE kit, I will do everything, and I will have that burning sensation while I have the PPE kit worn and I'm performing a long treatment, but I am ready to bear those charges. How long do you think you will enjoy performing dentistry while you're bearing all these charges? You are going through hardships and the profits have been cut down. There will be a time when you will get frustrated. The love for your dentistry may come down. You may try to cut corners, and that again will put you in trouble all of a sudden. Second case scenario, we act smart. We take this opportunity, we enhance our charges to what they should be. And yes, people are right now vulnerable, including us. We are vulnerable towards other services, other industries, and other industry people are vulnerable towards our industry right now. And they will have to accept enhancement charges, which depends upon where you practice and a lot of factors. But some amount of enhancement should be there. But the first step towards that is you should be self-convinced. You should not have any doubts. Oh, am I charging a lot? No, you're not. You're putting your life on risk. What if you die? I'm very sorry to say this. What if you die? What are you leaving behind for your family? Think about that.
Right. Thank you. Thank you.
Any other questions, please? Dr. Parvin Parthiv, would you like to ask something? We are asking in question answers. Okay, friends, we are almost done.
Hello.
Yes,
Hello.
sir. Hanji.
Yeah. Just wanted to ask one thing. Considering
Kindly introduce yourself.
Hello. Yeah. Hello. I'm Dr. Sagar. I wanted to ask regarding the genuineness of N95 mask. Considering almost every dealer is selling N95 and they're quoting it as certified. Even from 3M, they are not very confident about it. Regarding the even the availability of the model is different every time. So how do we decide which one is for us?
Dr. Himanshu will answer this.
Yeah. See, I have a friend who's a dealer for all these masks. And what we realized is, he's told me this, that 95% of masks, N95 masks sold in the country are fake today.
Okay.
95%.
Okay.
Are fake today, yes.
So
Dr. Ripple?
basically right now there is no other option other than waiting for the right things to come.
See, what I have opted for is, sometime back, the Enzoflam medical rep has given me FFP1 mask. It's a genuine 3M 80% filtration mask. It would be better than a fake N95.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, Dr. Rajat, you want to ask something?
I want to add to that. Call it my good fate or something. Last year, one of my consultant, and he's a very dear friend to me, on my birthday, he gifted me a half face respirator from 3M. And I've been using that ever since. Now the half face respirator, the only thing that I will have to now purchase and upgrade is a filter. And 3M has a filter which is meant for pandemics. I am forgetting the number right now. I think it's 6035 or 6038. I'll confirm it to you later. And according to 3M, they have claimed that one pair of respirator is on either side. It will last you a pandemic. And there is no timeline for a pandemic. It could be a year also. And those filters, even if I want to change, they are not very expensive. And these are reusable masks. So I don't have to wear a surgical mask and throw it after every treatment. I can wear a half face respirator. The positive point is, like Dr. Himanshu in the earlier presentation has told, that when we wear N95 masks, the carbon dioxide levels rise and we get dizziness. With a respirator, that will not happen. Respirator will not cause any dizziness or escalation of carbon dioxide. So my respiration, my complete control over my senses will not be hindered.
Oh, one more thing to add. Can these filters be fitted to a chemical respirator? Because I happen to have a chemical respirator.
I would want to see the photograph, because what happens is different company filters may be compatible with 3M. I'm not too sure. I've never tried that. This is my first respirator in my life from 3M.
Okay.
Dr. Ripple wants to say something.
Yeah, we got a little sidetracked. Just a response to the question on finance, how to increase your charges. Now, we obviously cannot tell someone how to increase your charges, but understand this much, that currently with the current guidelines, you will not be able to see more than 2 patients in a day. So if you have to follow everything as is, so you have to use that to determine with your previous year's earnings, and then determine that now I will have only so many patients to make this much earning. Second thing you must understand is that you have to add your PPE cost to every time the patient visits you. So say for example, you are, just as an example, say that your charge for a root canal was 6,000 rupees. Now today, if you have a PPE, the genuine PPE, it will cost you about 1,500 rupees at least. So you talk about 4,500 for the first visit that he makes to your clinic. How? 2 for your assistant, 1 for you. And after that, if it is a multi-appointment procedure, he will have to pay that again. So that's 9,000 rupees plus your 6,000 rupees plus your disinfection procedure plus the fact that you have reduced patients. So obviously these are very high charges, and not all of us can manage such charges, which is why after some time when things settle down, you will find that it will be a little easier. So that's how I would calculate my charges. And those are the factors that you should factor in when you are deciding your charge.
Okay, Dr. Ripple, on the behalf of this, all the panelists, I thank you, all of you. And we will be continuing with these type of webinars. You can contact me at 987-222-1544. And or you can join our Facebook group at 32 Danton Ki Seva. And finally, before I finish, I would like each of the panelists to say thank you. And afterwards, I will unmute all. And I expect कि आप सब लोग एक बार हमें सब panelists को thank you जरूर बोलेंगे. Dr. Rajat, अब आपसे शुरू करता हूँ मैं.
Thank you, and thank you for the opportunity to express my concerns and the facts that we have stated, and to have such a good, wonderful, informative, elaborate discussion. And I thank everyone who's participated and asked us questions, or even been a mute spectator. Thank you, Thinsa. Thank you, everybody.
Dr. Himanshu?
Yeah, I would like to thank all those people who came here and interacted with us, and I would like you to contribute your ideas. I want your feedbacks on the ideas that we have given you. And if there's a problem, please give us a negative feedback as well. That helps us with the future. We'd like to melt it all together into one protocol and make everybody practice again.
And before I complete and pass on the mic to Dr. Ripple, again I request कि हमें Ripple के लिए एक सुंदर सी कन्या चाहिए. ये बहुत बोलता है. इसकी शादी करानी है. Dr. Ripple, you would like to say thank you before I unmute each and everybody.
So I want all of you all to think about what we have shared today. We did not have any personal motive for holding this webinar. It was just that we wanted to give real world guidance to everybody. And we have discussed this a lot. We even had mock webinars before, because none of us have ever done a webinar. We could have some maybe some communication glitches from our end. There you go. But we are happy that you attended, and we hope that you can carry this message to all of the rest of the community.
Thank you, doctor. Thank you, everybody. I would love to see, listen to thank you from everybody.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you
very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you to all the panelists.
Thank you, everybody.
Very great discussion. Thank you very much.
Thank you all.
Thank you all.
So thank you. It was our first webinar on this thing, and thank you very much. Next time we will be doing a Facebook Live also. Thank you very much. Okay.
Nice. Okay, take those arms, reach across the body, just reach across.